Our first speaker with some brief opening remarks is someone you may be very familiar with. Alberto Carvalho is the superintendent of Los Angeles Unified School District. Superintendent Carvalho came to Los Angeles this year after 14 years leading Miami-Dade schools in Florida. Shout out to Florida. I'm actually based in Florida, so this perfect connection right here. Under his leadership, Miami became one of the nation's top performing big city districts. His personal story is equally compelling. An immigrant to the US at the age of 18 with no family and speaking little English, he put himself through college, joined Miami-Dade as a teacher, and rose to superintendent in 2008. In 2014, he was named National Superintendent of the Year. At LAUSD, Superintendent Carvalho has made improving reading achievement one of the district's top priorities. Without further ado, let me hand it over to Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. Give it up to chat for Superintendent Carvalho.
Good morning, Christopher, and good morning, educators, community members, and partners. What a pleasure to be with you today. Look, we're experiencing somewhat of a different day in Los Angeles. It is raining, the sun is not up, but we love it. We need that water. Look, I'm probably going to preach to you a sermon that is all too real to all of you. We all recognize that the ability to read proficiently is indeed a game changer. It is liberating, particularly the lives of so many students in our communities. It is absolutely essential that we do whatever it takes to improve reading proficiency throughout California and throughout our nation. And we all have an important role in this. You know, as Christopher said, I know firsthand how a good education can change one's life trajectory. He told you about me coming to this country actually at the age of 17, but that's not where the story begins. I was born into poverty, a family of 6. Mom and dad did not have more than a 3rd grade education. Mom was a seamstress, and my dad was a custodian, a janitor. I was the only one to graduate high school. I was the only one because I came to this country at the age of 17 that was able to go to college. Now, they were all equally, if not more, able than I was. Greater level of capacity. What was it? And I can tell you this. There was a Miss Natalia in my life, a remarkable teacher who actually decoded for me the process of reading. It opened the world of imagination. I was able to travel by reading to faraway places, imagining myself in those places. That is the true liberating power of reading. For me, it made a difference. It saved me. It made someone who was once homeless in Miami, blocks away from the office where I became superintendent, into the teacher, the leader, the superintendent, the man I am today. And for now, look, just a week ago, we were able to read the 2022 NAEP results. And those results showed us that we need a more intentional focus on reading instruction. We need that awakening moment that I went through for every single kid across California. Simply put, the average reading scores for 4th and 8th graders nationally decreased. In 4th grade, the average reading score was lower than all previous assessment years going back to 2005. Consider that. In 8th grade, the story is even worse. The average reading score was lower compared to all previous assessment years going back to 1998. Now, I put on my superintendent hat as well as my governor hat as a member of the National Assessment Governing Board that actually dictates policy on assessment nationally. The picture is not bright. When we look deeper into the NAEP data for Los Angeles Unified, however, we actually find some interesting areas of growth, indicating that we are indeed on the right path. Los Angeles Unified outpaced the nation in gains over time, particularly when compared to 2003. Are we performing below the nation? Yes, we are. Have we made significant improvement? Yes, we have, particularly between 2019 and 2022, a time when the nation lost considerable ground. Let me be specific about this so that you're convinced about the possibility. The average score for LAUSD 4th graders increased by 2 points. Now, I know that is not very statistically significant yet, given the fact that last year's 4th graders completed half of second grade and most of third grade is virtually, it becomes more significant to hold or grow in this area. The reading average score for our eighth graders increased by 9 points. Now, we're really proud of this growth and are working to expand our implementation of the science of teaching reading. My friends, I was not trained as an educator. In fact, my background is in biomedical sciences and physics. So yes, I am a science devotee. I believe that if we are going to follow science, and we should, then we should really embrace all science, including the science of reading. We cannot afford to be selective in which science we focus. That includes training kindergarten to third grade teachers in effective reading practices. That includes assigning literacy coaches, particularly in a differentiated way to the schools and students who need it the most. That means insisting on strong teacher prep programs, and this puts colleges and universities on the hook of this conundrum. It means that we ought to have the courage to not be influenced by lobbyists of publishing companies, allowing us to adopt high-quality curriculum, identifying fewer but better universal progress monitoring tools, assessment of reading challenges, and the implementation of individualized reading plans. It sounds easy. It is not so easy, but it's not so hard that it cannot be done, because it works, because it is in fact working. You know, I'm reminded as I was looking at that beautiful compilation of testimonial that preceded this conversation, I'm reminded of a quote by Maya Angelou. It exemplifies what we are doing with reading instruction and the implementation of our strategic plan. And it goes somewhat like this: do the best you can, until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. My friends, we already know better, so we must do better. Reading proficiency across America and the instruction and teaching of reading is no longer necessarily a skill set deficit. It is a will set proposition. The research is compelling. We need to understand it, know it, and then practice it. We are here in Los Angeles Unified and will continue to work tirelessly to meet our goal of ensuring that all of our students graduate ready for the world, and in doing so, become proficient readers. Here in our community, we have adopted a comprehensive strategic plan after a decade of no plan whatsoever. This plan is a living document that will guide every aspect of our work, that will guide every investment of our budget. It is solidified over 5 pillars: academic excellence, joy and wellness, engagement and collaboration, operational effectiveness, and investment in staff, providing us with a common focus, strategies and goals, specific key metrics and indicators to orient our work. My friends, the implementation of our strategic plan provides even greater intentionality on the science of reading and truly enables us to direct more resources towards this very important work. Let me close by simply saying this. We recognize the challenges that our children face in our community, our state, and across the country. There are challenges brought about by social gaps and inequities, health gaps and inequities, home insecurity, food insecurity, by the way, all of them known to me as a poor kid in America, as an American by choice, not by chance. But here's what I know. The journey from the impossible to the inevitable is traveled by those who have equal parts belief that, in fact, every single child has a right to a great education and the right to the right strategy of reading instruction. Skill for skill and science, knowledge is important, and nothing else should orient our work. But most importantly, will. Belief, skill, and will can turn anyone's impossible into everyone's inevitable. For will is the ability to discern right from wrong, pick the right choices, and be unapologetic about the work that must be done to benefit our children. I want to thank you very much and wish all of you a great journey as we significantly impact the outlook of life for the kids we teach.
Thank you, Superintendent Carvalho. In the chat, I want you to put in the chat, what was your biggest takeaway from what we just heard? What was your biggest takeaway from what we just heard? I heard my biggest takeaway was two things. Whatever it takes and be unapologetic. We're about the business of ensuring every child learns to read, every child gets a high quality education, be willing to do whatever it takes for that to occur. Superintendent Carvalho, we thank you for your time. We thank you for being a part of the California Summit and continue doing the great work that you're doing. We support you. We're going to continue to do everything we can to help the work that you do. And you see in the chat that is lighting up about the takeaways that these folks have. And we're definitely appreciative of the time you spent with us this morning.